Okay, hello everybody. So I think it's time for us to start on this very, very hot topic, as you may know. So we are into a GoToWebinar format. So when you want to ask a question, please use the question system in GoToWebinar. And at the end of the presentation, I'll read the questions and of course answer them. So feel free to use that any moment, but I won't answer right on the spot. I'll try to answer everything at the end so it's clearer for everybody. So welcome to this webinar on GDPR. As you know, it's coming because it's tomorrow that we need to be compliant. So we wanted to do this short webinar just to introduce the concept of how BPM and of course Bonita platform can help you in your compliance journey. As we all know, we try to be compliant May 25th, but it's an ongoing project that will impact us on the long run. So just a quick reminder on GDPR. So this is a personal data protection for European citizen on personal data. But what I wanted to underline is that among you probably have some people doing B2B activities, and they are also applicable for them, because just an email or a first name or a last name is considered personal data. Of course, when you manage like health data, bank data, it's even worse because it's considered very high classified type of data. But for just email, name and first name and last name, you still have to be compliant. And you have to be compliant even if you're not a European company, but as soon as you touch one person in your database that is a European citizen, you have to be compliant. So basically what we see happening, and I heard that on the news again this morning, is that most of the companies are going to be compliant, including the big, Microsoft and Facebook, and it's going to become, I think the GDPR is going to become an international standard. And some countries have kind of the same approach, like Canada, for example. But this one is even larger because it goes cross borders. So as soon as you are European, wherever your data is located, wherever you are located, you are protected by this law. So just a quick reminder. The impact on GDPR on organization is quite important. Some people would say it's just a marketing topic or it's just an IT topic. In fact, it impacts so many people in the organization. When you think data, the day you start thinking how are we as a company dealing with data, you will notice that data is everywhere and it's in different systems with different people involved in different processes. So being GDPR compliant is really a process of managing data all over systems and organizations. So my question is, have you implemented the process governing how you manage, data and movements and persistence and data access? And the second question is, did you put appropriate workflow to respond to the, for example, the right to be forgotten, which is going to be our focus today? And to answer this question, I'm sure you've put in place some elements or trying to put in place some elements, and really BPM can help you in this. Because when I say GDPR is a process, well, using a business process management system seems logical. So when in the the rules and regulation, people can, you have a lot of things, of course, to be covered, but one of the main things that impacts organization outside of, procedures and privacy regulation and stuff like this is people can ask for modification, suppression, portability, or what we call limitation of data treatment. And the highest thing is right to be forgotten. And in each of these cases, you have to document, but you also have to have a process that is proven and that is error-less. Because if you don't, you're not compliant. If when someone asks for suppression or asks for right to be forgotten, and you forget to remove their data in one of your systems, and a month later or a year later, this person receives an email because there was some persistence of data on the system, you are in breach of compliance. So it's really critical to first analyze the systems where the data is and to document this. And to start with this, what we took as an example here is we took the example of right to be forgotten because that's the one that is probably has the most impact in terms of a number of processes or that might happen. So anyone can ask that all the personal data is removed from your database, and personal data can really be a lot of things. As I said, it can be your email, your name, but also some post you did, some medical information, some IP addresses, can be of different things. Of course, you can have an IP address if it's anonymized and not linked to a name and a first name and a last name. This is not considered personal data. But as long as you can drive a connection between a person, a first name, a last name, and an IP address, then it is considered a personal data. So the company needs to respond within a month to the right to be forgotten. So you need a pretty efficient process in place. So continuing on this example, we took a short use case, a quite simple use case, but just to let you think. And of course, you can complexify this as much as you want, because we know we are never into a very simple organization like this, but this is just to illustrate. So we've taken this example of a person who has registered through a loyalty program with a piece of paper, which happens a lot still. I mean, of course, there is a lot of time where loyalty programs are online, but there are still places where you have loyalty program forms that are physical forms. So we took the example of the physical form, but you could take the example, of course, of a virtual form that works too. In this case, the data, so the name, the first name, last name, and every other personal data is stored in two systems. First, it's stored into the main IT system of the company, and then this company has a shared service center that is an outside company or a subsidiary that is outside of Europe. This is a usual. For example, a lot of companies have shared service center in Philippines or India, and they manage a lot of the data, and they deal with marketing automation, and they deal with a lot of data management. So this is a classical case. So when doing being compliant, when the person asks for right to be forgotten, you need to do multiple things. You need to delete the paper archive, you need to delete in the IT system of the company, and you need to delete into the shared service subcontractor IT system. Imagine if you are a larger organization, you might have to delete in many more iterations of your data in many more environments with many more organization dealing with this data. We as I said, we took a simplified example just for the sake of the demonstration. And as I said, the risk is that one of the action of deletion is forgotten, and then an email goes to the client, and the client is not happy because he wanted to be forgotten. and he's seeing that it's not happening, and you can therefore be considered in breach of compliance, and you could be sued for this. And you, as you know, this compliance regulation has a big impact in terms of fines. I mean, it's 4% of the annual revenue, which is quite big. So which explains why everybody wants to be compliant and everybody wants to make it happen, because the risks are quite high for all organizations. So with BPM, really the nature of the platform is a process-oriented approach. So basically, when you are going to use a BPM solution, you can design, first you can design your process, and here we try to well, the simplified process you saw with little graphic, we put it into Bonita, and we basically created this this process. Of course, as I said, this is a simple process, but you could have very complex process happening with many different lanes and many different actors and many different conditions. But the nature of the BPM solution is that it helps you design your process first. So it's just by putting on the paper or on the software what you have in mind as how do I do when I have a right to be forgotten question or request is important. It helps everybody to put down what needs to be done, what system are involved, and who is responsible, who is validating, and so on and so forth. So just the simple exercise, I'm not even talking about automating it or doing anything after that, but just the simple fact of designing the process is already a very useful step. The second thing is on top of course, helping you with the design, because when you design, questions are arising, and then different things different questions are being asked by people. People will notice that there is some data that is duplicated that shouldn't, or so on and so forth. So it really helps cleaning data management and data policies. The second thing is that with BPM, you can map and tag. You can demonstrate the fact to if one day some auditing is done, you can prove that you have documented your processes, and this is part of the compliance exercise, to be able to demonstrate that you did your procedures and you documented your processes. So this can also be a nice impact. Of course, once you have designed your process and you use it to automate part of your process through the Bonita or another BPM platform, you will diminish human errors, because as everything is documented, every step that is not happening or delayed or is showing very, very quickly. It improves execution time, because of course there are some tasks that are assigned and you have due dates and so on. And one very important thing is that there is traceability. And when we talk about compliance, well, another thing when you get audited is, yes, you have to prove that you have the right processes in place, that you have the right procedures, but also that you did what was expected. And with the software, with the BPM software, you have traceability. If someone asked for the right to be forgotten, you can prove how the process happened, when it was done, by whom, and you have proof within your platform. So this is a very good thing to basically answer to audits. you can, of course, add a layer of automation using a RPA, robotic process automation solution, on top of your BPM. For example, if for modification, this is often a use case that we see. If you ask for your address change, for example, it's very common in very large organizations that RPA solutions are starting to be put in place to manage this type of very repetitive system where you have to change the address of the person in multiple systems, multiple environments. So with Bonita, it's very easy as it's an open platform. It's very easy to basically connect a solution such as an RPA to add some more automation on top. So this is it on basically the benefits, and again, I mean, this is a short webinar just to just give you ideas and to explain a bit why you should maybe look at BPM as a good solution to reinforce your compliance. We are here, of course, to explain much more around this if you need, but as a conclusion, just a little explanation on how Bonita is really an open solution and how it can help you be compliant, but in an easier way with a very nice customer experience. So Bonita has different features that can help you first on the customer experience, because it has the capacity to build very efficient UI and therefore improve the user experience. You can build, and your development teams can really get a lot of things from the platform to build custom applications for interacting with your customers or your employees, depending on what your application is for. The other thing is that the solution, as a very open solution with the REST API capacity, is able to interact and interconnect with many systems in an organization. And back to the GDPR topic, it's always the case. I mean, I don't know of any organization that has data in one place. We all, even in smaller organizations, we all have data in multiple places with multiple systems. And Bonita is capable of interacting and connecting with many systems in a very easy way through standard connectors or through REST APIs. And it's really a good orchestration system that can help you have a process cross systems, cross countries, cross organization. It has, you know, the extensibility and the capacity. The developers have really the capacity to put the solution that is developed in different ways depending on what the organization wants to achieve. We define Bonita as a low-code for developers, low-code platform for developers, because we also have tools such as very easy UI development tools and such things like that can accelerate your development time, and of course accelerate it within the compliance schedule. This is something that you could appreciate. So I'm done with the overall presentation, and I'd like to open for questions to see if it has, you know, brought question to you, and if you want to discuss some things. No questions? This morning we did a version in French, and we had a couple of questions on Bonita capacity to connect with different systems and different environments. And back to what I was saying, this is something that we answer very positively, because this is how the system is built. We have people, you know, making very different solution working together thanks to the REST API system. Okay, I don't see any questions from the audience, so I will close it for today. We have recorded this presentation, so in case you want to re-listen or share with other people, it will be published on our website soon. I mean, next week probably. Feel free to share or reference it, and if you still have questions after that, you can still contact us using the address marketing@bonitasoft.com, and we will have a quick answer for you. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.